In the past, the previous school board commissioners and the chair and the vice chair have viewed school closures as a way of saving money, rather than looking at the schools in the context of the communities they're in and consulting with the parents in the neighborhood and in the community to find out what they want and how the schools can be revived. And there's a number of success stories in the school board. One of them being Bancroft School, which is my neighborhood primary school. It was supposed to become bilingual. The school board arbitrarily decided it wasn't going to be bilingual. The parents then decided to fight back. The school became a bilingual school. And now, 4 or 5 years later, the enrollment has gone up by more than 100 kids. Because the parents in the Mile End, who had turned their backs on the MSB, thought, oh, wait a minute, maybe this is going to be okay, and it's so much more practical. It's a school right in the neighborhood. Another case is Marymount, just up the street from here. Marymount became an international baccalaureate school and is turning kids away now, but it was a school originally on the block at one point to be closed. So I think by bringing parents in a realistic way and consulting with parents, you can avoid the kinds of emotional and community disasters, which are school closures. I'm thinking of St. Patrick's, of McLaren, of Nazareth. You know, the list is long, the number of schools that have closed in the MSB. So if you can revitalize the schools, bring the parents back, and introduce new and creative programs for the kids, I think that there will be a return to the MSB. I think it is possible to do that. As for the overall context of austerity under the Liberal government, well, I think there has to be a discussion about costs. I think maybe there is a little bit of reductions that could be applied to the school board. I think that there should be a much more careful evaluation of the spending of the school board. For example, they just hired a new secretary general at the school board at $150,000. And meanwhile, in the context of cutbacks, they did this just a few months ago, knowing that cutbacks were coming. Now, what I think they could have done is they maybe could have created a merger of the head of the legal department could have become the secretary general, thereby avoiding a new high-ranking hire, for example. So not to overstate the importance of cutting at the administrative level, but I think there could be some serious assessment of what's being done at Fielding. I think it's a very large, expensive building with some old traditions that I think need to be shaken up a bit. I think some real discussions need to go on amongst the school board commissioners about how to reduce costs. And I think some real discussions have to go on with the ministry as well in terms of how the money should be spent, because English education in Quebec is protected by the Constitution. The school boards themselves are not protected, but English language education is protected. So there's discussion of mergers between the MSB and the Lester B. Pearson board. That's possible, but I wouldn't be in favor of that, but I think English language education is probably more secure in terms of its status than some of the other Francophone boards might be. And these are all trial balloons. If people turn out and vote in this election and prove to the wider world that the English Montreal School Board is viable, that people are interested, that they're participating in the democratic process, then that makes the school board less vulnerable to further cuts, I think.